The average Instagram user scrolls past over 70 ads a week. It's kind of pretty insane. Most are skipped and they're forgotten. Brands that drop in fresh creative every 7 to 10 days, they'll win back that attention. And so in the next few minutes, I'll show live how Alphana can actually flip multiple videos and turn them into a stack of ready to run static ads for Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and so many more platforms. And all of this can be done without a design team. All right, you should be able to see my screen now. Today is very much focused on static ads. So we're not creating video ads, we're creating static ads. Although eventually you could probably take that and turn it into video ads. But how do we kind of dive into this? And I'm going to show you what we do there. But if one of the examples I like to take is like, hey, you have a product launch video or an interview where you're talking about a product, or maybe you got off a call with one of your customers and you want to run ads for them. And as soon as you get off that call, you want to drop that recording into Alphana. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to take that video, that recording, again, it could be the interview, it could be a podcast, it could be a meeting you just had on Zoom, or it could be a product launch video. And from that, we're going to analyze the content and try to create several ad variations based on what was discussed inside of the video. And so this will help you to get a lot of options up front pretty quickly and allow you to tailor it so that you can get some drafts, and then you can either resell those ads to your customers, or you can use that to come up with a ton of different ad variations for your own company. So again, go ahead, drop in the chat. Just make sure you guys see my screen. What you should see here is Alphana open. I've got several projects. Of course, I've been testing a couple different things. So the first thing I want to do is I actually want to be able to select a video, and I want to go ahead and start generating some ads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and click create. Now, when I click create, you'll see that we have an entire library of these content cards, right? These AI cards that will essentially generate different pieces of content, like a quiz, like a clip for Instagram, SEO tags, blog posts, Twitter, all these different pieces of content. But we have an entire image library of different pieces of content you can create. Like we've got over 61 different types of images you can create. And a few of those are going to be ads. And we're going to roll out a lot more different variations. So I want you to drop into the chat any types of ads that you want us to help come up with. We'll come up with it, come up with the prompts, and we'll drop it in here for you. But today we're going to do three of them. And actually, I got a fourth one that I'll show you as well for Instagram, Facebook, and static. And what I did was I saved a template in my own library, and I'm going to go and look for that now. Templates are essentially the combination of multiple cards being generated at once. So if I go ahead and I click on my templates, you'll see that I have in my templates a video to static ads template. And here's what's cool about it, right? Because I could turn any video, interview, or webinar into scroll stopping static ads. And what I have here are 4 variations. I'm going to create Instagram carousel ads. I'm going to create UGC style static ads. We're going to see how this one comes out. We're going to create a Facebook static ads, and then just static ads, which is general. But essentially, each of these are going to generate 4 ads. I'm going to get 16 ads total by using this template. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And in this case, I'm not going to pull from YouTube or upload. I'm going to go ahead and reuse a video that I've already uploaded. It's also much faster. It also doesn't deduct any more credits by doing that. And I think I had one from like a Circle AI agent launch. Yes. So Circle is a community platform. We even run our community on there, and they had come out with a new product offering. And so what I did was I uploaded that video because it talks about the product. And so we're going to see what it looks like on generating ads for Circle. So I'm going to go back here, click video, and I don't need to edit the transcript. So I click next and generate. Perfect. So for those of you that remember, or if this is your first time, Alphana can essentially create multiple pieces of content at once. You could do one at a time, or you could create up to 30, right? And in this case, what I'm doing is I'm doing 4 different sets of cards. I'm doing static ads, Instagram carousel ads, Facebook static ads, and a UGC style static ads, okay? But each of these are going to generate 4 different ads, right? And so again, I'm getting 16 ads all in this one shot. So we're just going to give this a minute, because right now it's analyzing the content, it's analyzing the video, it's coming up with the creative for the ads, it's going to generate it, and then I'll be able to show that to you. So please go ahead and drop in the chat questions. Tell me what types of ads or what type of audiences, because I'm going to actually tailor some of these ads if you want to tailor it to a different audience as well. We could even talk about brand colors and styles. So, okay, one question I see right now, you're asking, once you've used a single video, you no longer get charged credits. That's a great question. You don't get charged anymore for reusing the video. So you won't get charged for the transcription credits, and you don't for reusing the same video. You will get charged for the content you generated. but you'll save a ton of credits. So imagine you uploaded an hour-long video or a 2-hour-long webinar, and we charge credits for that upload, right? Because we're processing that video, we're analyzing it, we're generating it. But if you reuse the video, because now it's inside of your library, you won't get charged credits for that. You only get charged for now the credits of what's being rendered on the page. Can you load a webinar that is an hour long? Absolutely. So this all depends on the plan that you're on, right? So we have some licensed tier customers, I think tier 1 or tier 2, where I think you can only do an hour, and other licenses you could do up to 3 hours. Anybody on a subscription plan on our website, you get up to 3-hour videos that you can upload. So if you've got a really long podcast or episode or webinar that's 3 hours long, you can upload that in here. We'll analyze it for you. All right, we've got our ads. All right, let's take a look at a couple of these. So remember, this is a video from Circle. It's a community platform, and they recently launched new AI agents, and they're talking about some of their features. And so here are a couple examples of static ads that we generated. All right, so we've got 4 here. Go ahead and drop it in the chat. Tell me what you think so far. But we've got 4 static ads. Let's click on this one. All right, first up, more time for what matters, with a call to action that says start free trial. Look at that. So it helps to pull it in. Now, what you'll notice here on the right is the prompt, right? We actually draft all of these prompts automatically. So we come up with them. So if you liked something with this image, but you want to make a change, you could come in here and copy this prompt to make an edit to it. I'll show you that more later, but just keep that in mind. The second one we've got here is that they've got 24/7 member support. Get started today. Your community, your control. It kind of shows a little dashboard with growth metrics. Click here to learn more. And last but not least, scale without losing touch. Try it now. So this is what it came up with, right? Maybe 2 of these might be the ones that you want to run with, and the other 2 aren't the ones. Great, but now you've got 2 options as an example, right? Now, they seem to talk a lot about 24/7 member support, so that came up inside of the ad creative. So I'm going to come in here. You've got more options, right? Save time, stay connected. It kind of shows like AI response, community leader, try AI agents. Like, look at this, right? This already was talking about, hey, they're pushing their new AI agents feature, created some ads based on it. Here's another one with 24/7 support. It added some like real AI people inside of it with a start free trial. Here's another one, right? Complete control, seamless handoffs. And it shows you in a UI, right, how it's going to send a personalized message. And this is actually pretty cool because look, it's got up here a button that says pause AI. And if you do that, you can actually edit the personalized message and send it manually. That's pretty cool because that's the context that was inside of the video. And in the video, they're talking about how you can have control over your AI agents. And last but not least, you can grow your community effortlessly, right? It shows a couple icons. It feels a little bit more community driven. Get started now. Now, everyone, don't get too caught up on the styles, right? This might not match your brand style, right? And that's because you can set up inside of your custom instructions inside of Alphana. You could say, hey, here are my color palettes, right? You could put the color codes. Here's my 2 or 3 color palettes. Here's my primary. And that way, because over here, you'll see it specifies background color and color palette, a soft gradient in modern high contrast tones of blue and white to convey trust and innovation. But if you put in your brand guidelines that my colors are XYZ color of purple and green, and it uses flat 3D design, not gradient modern color, and maybe you're not using a bold sans serif, maybe it's a handwritten font. These are things that you put inside of your custom instructions so that then when you run these ads, it'll come up in the style of your brand and not of what's in here. Any other types of styles of ads before I keep going? Noel, you had a question. Can you rerun it to create a different ad samples? Do you get charged for that if you do? That's a great question, Noel. So yes, you do get charged if you regenerate these ads, right? So for example, I can come in here and I could say regenerate. When I say regenerate, I'm telling it, hey, these 4 aren't what I wanted. I want you to create 4 more. And it will charge again for those credits because everything consumes credits, unfortunately, with AI until we get to a point where we can kind of eliminate those costs, but it will get you more ad variation. So I'll go ahead and hit regenerate so you can see what that looks like. Now, what's cool is it will retain the other 4. So even though it looks like it's hiding right now, once you generate the new 4, this card will now show you 8 images, 8 ads that were created for this particular one. Now, for images, because you could be more specific, you could hit regenerate and see what it comes up with, but I would probably recommend that you edit the prompt and refine the things that you want to be inside of the images of the ads before you generate it, because that'll guarantee you'll get a much better output than if you were to just hit regenerate for images particularly, right? So it's much quicker to hit regenerate, but it is more costly. Now, regenerating text cards, like if you created a LinkedIn post or a caption or a blog post, regenerate cost is very small compared to what it is for images. Once you do the ad, how would you put an actual button to click on it, to click on it? So some of these ads already come built in with buttons, right? So I just regenerated these ads, and you'll see, like, for example, this one says, I'm not going to hover over it, but you'll see that one says start now. You'll see other call to actions that say like learn more. So it wasn't in a button format, but these are things that could be controlled inside of the prompt. So if you say, hey, I want all my ads to always have the call to action to be a button format. So making sure that it's got like a bubble around it and it looks like it's something clickable. That would just be something that we would edit here inside of the prompt, right? Because you can edit. This is very detailed of exactly how we want these ads. We do this to give you a framework, but again, you could create hundreds of variations of different types of ads solely by editing what you see here. Now, hopefully that answered your question, Christopher, about the ads and how to click on it. Because the other thing that I was thinking about is if you're trying to add a link to these images, that happens automatically when you're using something like Meta's ad library, like the ad manager to be able to create ads. Or if you're using it on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Google, if you're trying to upload these ads, they will automatically make these linkable, right? So you just have to upload the image assets, and then you would put the URL inside of the platform to be able to link out to wherever it is that you want it to go. Now, if you're looking to link these images on your website, you can always embed it. And most website platforms have a link that you can, or in an email, right? You could put this in an email as well. You could click the image and add the little link button to make it hyperlink. So one thing you're asking is, hey, did you ask for the button to be built in, or did it do that by itself? So what's built into the prompt is not a button per se, but in the prompt, we do say that it must have a call to action. So for example, end with a concise action-oriented CTA. For everybody, CTA means call to action. That fits the message. Choose the CTA. Do not invent unrelated copy. So you'll see that we're very clear that we want it to be in a CTA format, but we are allowing the AI to come up with how they visually show that call to action. And in these two cases, it made it in a button format. And in these two cases, it did it in a text format, right? So one thing that I would do to enhance this, and maybe I'll try to update these myself, but if you ever catch it, is I would just say, hey, the CTA must be in a button format, right? I think that would be a little bit better in most cases, but sometimes people don't want that, and that's okay. So as you can see here, these are the 4 that generated. These are the 4 that was there before. So regenerate shows you exactly what it did as the new versions. So again, some of them are decent. You've got one like this. Like for example, taking control is a big deal with AI and AI agents, not letting them just run free to do whatever it is that they want, right? And so I think this kind of really helps to show that value prop, like complete control always. And you've got buttons like automation, permissions, notifications, pause AI. So this ad right here is pretty well constructed, I would say, as an option that somebody could use. Now, one thing that I encourage everyone with making ads, or if you run an agency and you're dealing with your clients, neither one of us know exactly which ad is going to be the best performing ad. We don't know which one's going to come in at the lowest cost per click or per or CPA, like the cost to acquire that customer. We don't know which one's going to give you the best conversion rates. We don't know which one's going to just overall perform the best, right? Now, we all have best practices, right? We know there's certain things that you should do in ads, right? We know that you should have a CTA. If I don't put a CTA, it's less likely to do better, right? There's certain elements that are important, right? Talk about the value and the benefit and the outcome of what that person's coming in, right? So we have all these layers of what makes a good ad, right? But again, it's not until you put it in front of somebody that you'll know if it was really a good ad, right? So the beauty and the trick with ads when you're posting it on Meta, on all these different platforms, is that you actually could put in like 100 ads, run 100 against each other, A/B test them, see what the algorithm likes, see which ones get the most engagement, see which one converts the best. Because you might get one that might have been the highest conversion that turned into a lead, but in the end you find out that that ad led to less people actually paying, putting a credit card on file, or buying the service, right? So they gave you their email, but they didn't buy. But then you might find another ad that performed way worse on conversions and didn't give you that many leads. But guess what? You got a ton more people who actually put their credit card on file. And I couldn't tell you from looking at these 100% guaranteed which one's going to perform best, which is why the beauty of these ad platforms is that you can upload 10, 20, 50 different ads and test it to see which ones work out better. Here's another one, right? Facebook static ads. Again, these are similar in a sense, but this one's tailored towards Facebook. Here you go. I've got 4 beautiful ads. I actually like some of these. I probably changed the tone color for my own personal preference of what I would do with some of these gradients, but these are pretty good ads. Like, look at this one, right? And hopefully this will help you. You'll see in here the prompt, right? Because you wanted to see the original prompt, and I'll show you the other one as well. But look at this, instant answers anytime. And it's like, you got the AI. It's like, how do I change my email, right? And then it's got the CTA, try AI today. Save time for what matters, start saving time, your community, your control. Like, I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but this created a UI layout. I mean, anybody here do web design for anybody? Because again, these cards are so flexible, you can ask it to make a UI based on a product that somebody just talked about. Wow, we should give that a shot, by the way. But in this case, it actually thought of what a UI would look like to show your community and for you to be in control. It shows you the people, and then here in admin, right, as a user, and then it says take control now. Just imagine the possibilities with this, right? You and your friend are talking on a Zoom chat about this idea for this platform, and then you come in here and you draft a prompt and it comes up with a couple ideas. It could be pretty cool. Here's another one, scale without losing the personal touch. So again, 4 ads that you could see from here. Before I show you the next one, let's see who's got questions. I cannot believe how much time this saves. Yes, this is a huge time saver, especially if you're trying to get ideas and concepts out. This is massive, so appreciate that. Can you reuse ads from campaign to campaign and just update a few details? Yeah, so you could always reuse ads. Are you talking about reusing it like once you get it onto like a platform like Facebook, Meta, or in one of these? Or are you saying in Alphana, like once you use one, you want to edit a few details and create another one? Because in Alphana, if you want to reuse one of these images, and we could test one out, is you would copy the prompt and we would create a new card inside of Alphana and ask it to create a ad based on that concept. Once you post it into one social media, maybe I want to use it for another social media. Yeah, of course, each social media platform is not tracking the ad that you ran in another platform. So theoretically, you could use the same ad across multiple platforms. The biggest thing you want to make sure are the specs. So, right, some of them might need square, some might need vertical, and different ad placements, but most of them will let you upload those images and it'll take care of it for you if you try it out. So yeah, if you see the Facebook static ad and you want to go use that on Instagram, you should be able to just pull that right ahead and use it on Instagram. Do you know of anyone well versed in voice agents? Depends on what you're looking for. Like helping to get a voice agent set up. Is it for somebody to have a call? You could shoot me maybe a message through our support chat and I could see if I could find something for you or give you some ideas. You want me to copy one of these prompts and create another one? Like for example, we want to maybe try to take this one. So just so you guys see, what I did was I took this image. I'm going to go ahead and copy this prompt. So now I'm copying everything that you saw there. And what I'm going to do is come here. I'm going to click the plus button underneath the card. And again, for everybody who doesn't know, you could click this plus button to see more cards that you can add to the page. So remember, you're not limited to what you just initially created. You could also click up here where it says add card, and this will pop up for you as well. So you've got multiple places to be able to reach and do this. So I'm going to go ahead here and I'm just going to say, let me pull up an ads that I have already. So I'll probably just grab the static ads. Now, when I clicked on static ads, you're going to see the prompt that I used to be able to make those ads, right? And so I'll show you a little bit so you can see how it's constructed because it's a little bit more detailed, right? Which is why we try to do as many of these for you so you don't have to learn how to prompt. So in here it says create 4 high performing static ads using the provided video transcript or text context. Perfect. Each ad must start with a clear hook drawn directly from the source, visualize one benefit, pain point, or key moment from the content, end with a concise action-oriented CTA that fits the message. Choose the CTA, do not invent unrelated copy. Because we just talked about, I'm going to say the CTA must be in a button format. So there's my one tweak I'm making to this ad. Follow one shared visual style so the 4 ads feel like a single campaign. Now, I'm going to get rid of this because I want you guys to see what this looks like if they weren't one visual style, right? I'm going to delete that just for the purpose of this demo. Now I've got the instructions for the orchestrator. Now look, I don't want everybody to get confused on it, but the orchestrator is because in our backend, we actually have multiple AIs running at the same time, but we try to simplify it in one place for you. And so we have an AI that will now take what you're looking for and go create more ad variations. It's as if you hired this agency to come up with multiple ad variations and they had 4 different designers going in to create the content for you. And so the orchestrator is actually dishing out the work to those 4 designers and creating these ads before it gives it back to you inside of the product. That's why we have an orchestrator, because it's deciphering it. And so we're telling it what to do in this aspect, right? So if I come in here, I'm saying, hey, produce ad 1, 2, 3, and 4, each delivered as a separate prompt, right? Because I need it to come up with an idea. All 4 ads must share identical layout rules, background treatment, font family, So I'm not going to put that, right? Because in this example, I want this to be different. We're just trying to see what this looks like. Pull every headline and hook and any subline directly from the source. No invented claims, right? Because again, we're basing this on the content. We don't want AI hallucinating and coming up with its own stuff. If brand colors are provided in custom instructions, use them. Otherwise, choose a modern high contrast palette that matches the content tone. Okay. That's why I told you guys earlier, you want to make sure we update our custom instructions, which I'll show you a quick preview of how to do that. But in there is where you would put some of those color codes. And then you'll see here, we're like, all right, each ad must include a headline with a hook, 4 to 6 words, bold, right? No more than 4 to 6 words. Supporting visuals, so a photo, object, or a cinematic scene that reinforces the hook. We're going to have a CTA that's 2 to 4 words. Avoid busy backgrounds. Keep a single clear focal point. No transparent backgrounds. And I'm going to add here, whoops, where am I? The CTA must be in a button format, okay? And then we've got the format for each ad, right? We're repeating times 4. So we're saying, hey, design a static ad based on the provided context. This is ad number X of 4 in a unified campaign. Specify the color palette. So describe a shared backdrop. I'm going to go ahead and just delete that because I want to make this more versatile for everyone to see what this would look like. Font and style, bold sans serif, line centered, subline. We're going to get rid of this. We don't want to influence the decision in this example. The headline hook, phrasing from a source. So, it's going to pull all this content, CTA, and it's going to end with the asset type. It's a static ad. Perfect. So now I've got this here, right? But what I want to do is say, orchestrator, produce these ads. And I actually don't know where to put it right now, but I'm just going to paste this block of text and say instructions for the orchestrator, tailor the ad to these specs, right? And so you could take an ad and a prompt and you can add this right in here so that you could tell it example of what you want it to look like. Maybe what I'll do is just change this, like make up a new one, and I'll take this in because I'm telling it to fill in that information for me. Maybe I'll do that here as well, right? For the style. So we're going to see what this looks like. So that way you guys can have a good example based on this. What do you say? We just give this a shot? All right. It's a very detailed prompt, but we're going to give it a try. We're going to see what these ads come out like. So just to recap what we did, we reviewed what the existing prompt looked like. It's got the orchestrator inside of it. We took out some things that influenced part of the design so it can give it a little bit more creative freedom, hopefully. We copied a prompt from another ad that we liked, or as an example, I put it in there so it has reference so that hopefully it can create some ad variations similar to it. And again, you can make any changes you want inside of this. Another trick that I would give everyone is like, you could copy the entire prompt, put it into ChatGPT as an example, and tell it, hey, this is the prompt that's being used to create the content, but here's 3 things I didn't like about the ads that came out. Can you fix and incorporate those 3 details into the prompt so that I could use this inside of Alphana? I'm just giving you an example. It'll do it for you. Now you just give it feedback and then copy and paste that right back into Alphana, and it'll refine it because you've already given ChatGPT a sample template that it has to follow in order to create these ads. All right, I'm going to read through some questions really quick. before. Oh, wait. We saw this, so we might as well take a look really quick. All right. All right. So you'll see here that, okay, we got new images, some with a similar tone, but you'll see others with, look, black background, orange color. So it came up with new ad variations that with new color palettes based on the feedback that we put inside of it. And so let's take a look at this one as an example. Transparency at your fingertips. It shows you all notifications, your community, your control. This was a variation of actually the ad that we used as a sample. And then here's another one, right? Grow your community today. AI, get started today. Now, one thing, if you haven't noticed, that's different. All 4 ads now have the CTA in a button format, right? So if you remember before, they didn't have the button format, and it's because I refined the instructions. And I also refined it to take away some of that creative control. But again, if we put brand colors or anything like that, it'll follow those directions as well. All right, go ahead and drop questions. I'm going to go back. I think I missed a few questions. I'm going to try to answer those for you, but please, if you've got more, and please tell me, is this helpful? Do you like what you're seeing? Are you going to use this? Please drop that into the chat. You're asking, where could you store the prompts? And wow, that is a very strong prompt. Yes, I love that. All these prompts are inside of Alphana. So if you're a subscriber, you're already using Alphana, anytime you see one of these cards, you could click on edit and you'll see the prompts right inside here, right? And again, we do a lot of the prompt engineering work, so you don't have to, but we also give them to you in case you want to have more creative control over it. So that's where you could find those prompts. I could create 10 ads to be read by 10 different agents. This way, I don't have to read any ads at all. That's funny. Yes, you could do that as well. Just have 10 different AI agents help you with those ads. I like the original prompt. Is it possible to get a copy of that? The detail is incredible as a reference. Same thing I mentioned earlier. You can go ahead in Alphana. You'll be able to see some of these prompts so that you can use them. And guys, please don't use and take these prompts and put them in other platforms or give them to other people. This is for inside of Alphana, but we give them to you so that you can make edits, and that way you can change it and then use them inside of Alphana. So yeah, I would just really appreciate that. Awesome. So let's see. John, appreciate these best practice demos. What is the ETA on webhooks? Is that still a possibility? Or post scheduling created content to social media? I appreciate the question. Yes, webhooks is still on our roadmap. We actually have a majority of it built out, but we ran into, just for transparency, we ran into a lot of issues with it on bugs, and introducing that into Alphana would have probably caused a lot of disruption for users. So we have to take a little bit more time on it. We scoped it pretty big. It was going to give a lot of control. So we're trying to refine that. And so we're trying to finalize what that date would look like. We had to prioritize a couple things after we saw everything that was going on with it, that we had to make enhancements on the platform so that we can jump back to webhooks. So again, webhooks, what do you need from it? What are you hoping to do at webhooks? A post scheduling is probably a little bit longer. Probably most likely webhooks is first. Post scheduling would be something we do after that because webhooks would set us up for it. So although not an ads marketer, we'll use to populate social media and redirect to products. Love it. Awesome. So yeah, that's a little bit on webhooks. And why only 4 variations on the ads? Noel, that's a great question. Right now, only 4 variations, more because there's a lot of costs involved. And so we do this to protect a lot of people from not over consuming credits without seeing what you need. Later, we'll introduce, most likely on a premium tier, where you could do a lot more than 4 ads at a time. Now, yes, these do 4, but you notice that I created 16 at a time, and it's because I created a template for myself. Again, we're not rolling out a template that lets you do 16 or 30 or 40, more because of the consumption and the costs involved, even for you. So I would say is get your foot wet, create some prompts, try it out first before trying to do bulk, just to make sure that you're getting what you need. But again, if you need to do 30 or 40 at a time and you're okay with it, just drop me a note. I'll shoot you a template that you can use that'll let you do more than that. Okay. You need these classes every week. Great. We do this every Wednesday. So yeah, come on by. And for whatever reason, if we don't do a live session, we will always replace it with at least a pre-recorded session. So you'll always have content, training, and new things that you could do in Alphana. All right. We could copy prompts to a Word or a text file for archive. Yep, Jeff, you saw my note from earlier, hopefully. So helpful, although not an ads marketer, we'll use to populate social media. Let's take a use case where we want to create an ad that a user clicks into, which goes to a form to request a free product sample. Is that an example where you could use this? It may not be on social media. Absolutely. Ads are just a way to communicate the benefits of your company and to put your company or your product or your services in front of other people. So these ads could be stuff that you put on a website banner. These ads could be things that you put inside of an email blast, right? They could be display ads that you do on other people's websites. And so these do not need to be ads that you just use on social media platforms. Honestly, you could even print this out if you wanted to have an ad or an image kind of thing. So there's a lot of possibilities and use cases to use these to be able to promote your business. And you'll probably see in other sessions where we generate a lot with these images that are not ads. We could do carousel posts, we could do educational, we could create lessons. There's a lot of other use cases for what we do here, but in this example, we're using it to be able to create ads. So I want to show you guys one more ad sample. I don't think we got to, and I'm curious to see how it came out in this example. But these are called UGC style static ads. And essentially what these do is it'll throw in an AI person into it. In this example, find answers instantly. These are vertical layout ads. Again, they work great on these platforms. Even they're like you could throw it out as a story. You could throw it as a real ad. They're not videos, so you wouldn't be a real ad, but you can use them as image ads. But look at this. How do I change my email address? And then you see an agent response. Here's how you could change it. And look at this. It created an AI character for you. So it looks like somebody is presenting this ad and it says try AI agents now, right? So completely different than the other ads we showed before. Here's another one. Save time for what matters. And again, you got some guy who's shocked and looking up and it says start your free trial. Here's another one, right? 24/7 member support. Anytime, I'm here to help. Perfect. And you got a person with the hand. And last but not least, complete control anytime. It shows you messages, step into chat, get started today. So these ads are called UGC style static ads. Okay. And UGC just means user generated content. It's a kind of style. So for example, it makes it look like somebody made these, like UGC usually references like a person who is like creating it, like a creator or someone talking about your company, not like you talking about your company or your product, right? I actually don't think I published this. Let me see, UGC. Yeah, I haven't published this yet. So here's what I'm going to do for all of you. I'm going to go ahead and publish this card and save it. And guess what? Now all of you have this in your library. So if everybody refreshes and they click on this plus sign, you should, I might have to, here we go. You type UGC and that'll pop up right there now as an option for you to create more ads from, called UGC style static ads. Let me see, more questions. I have two companies, one that provides health and wellness education and activities and the other that does corp learning and development. Can Alphana help with course and activities content? Absolutely. It kind of depends on what you're looking for, but in Alphana, you could generate things like quizzes. You could actually generate like a true or false. You could do multiple choice. It could kind of extract from different video content. We also use it to create like cheat sheets. So if you wanted to have a cheat sheet type of thing where we kind of extract certain takeaways from a course. And I think I have an entire session that shows you how you could actually turn any video or idea into a course outline, and you can actually break out what that course looks like. And so if you're trying to come up with what a course topic would be and come up with what the agenda might look like for a series, it could be like a 3-day workshop, or it could be a full semester of like 12-week courses. You could use that. Let me see if I have one in here. In this example, I have something that's called course or workshop ideas. And so if I select that one, this one will give you ideas for a course or a workshop, right? And then what you could do is if you like one of those ideas, you could create another content piece that'll take that idea and turn it into a course outline for you. And so you'll see here live, right? Now from this video, I've created 5 different course ideas, right? So mastering AI agents for community management, building personalized member experiences. So I'm going to actually grab now this course idea, and I'm going to click the plus sign. I'm going to click create your own. I'm going to say, please create a full course, a full 12-week course outline based on this title and description. And now I'm going to paste the course that I preferred that it came up with and click generate. And now it'll come up with a 12-week outline that you can use to set up your course. And then of course you can refine it from there. Let's see. So I'll let this run and look at that. So now I've got a course on mastering AI agents for community management, 12 weeks, and it breaks out week by week what a course would look like. And I can't tell you, like, this works whether you're a coach, whether you're a teacher, or if you're a company and you want to create a course so that you could promote to your customers. And here you go. You've got a full one right then and there, right? So I'll just call this like a full course, full 12-week course outline. All right. And there you have it. And just so you guys could see what I'm going to do here, I've got this one, right? I'm going to go ahead and click create. I'm going to choose a video from my library. And the one that I want to try is from Superhuman, the email platform. They had done their product launch video. And so I'm going to go ahead and click create, selecting that video. And I'm going to select the template that I had already again, the one for static ads. And I'm just going to run it off of a completely different video just so you could see the differences. And I'm going to click generate. And so this is for a different type of product. So we could just see what that looks like, right? And again, now that I selected my video, I click the template, I click create. You'll see here again, I'm setting up 4 different types of ads. And we're going to get 16 variations in this example. And so we'll let this run. This will take like maybe another 60 seconds, 2 minutes at the most. While that's running, I want to take a couple questions. You're saying, in what library I am lost, unfortunately. We have 2 things in our library. One is if you've previously uploaded videos, we have a library of videos that you could choose from, that you can reuse from your own library. Or number 2, we have a card and a template library. So if I click up here, add card, this is running, so I have to, hold on. Let me see if I can open up the one that I did earlier while the other one is running. So what we have in our library, when I click add card, this is a library of content cards that you can use to create content. And they're already preset with prompts. So we have over 117 different cards in here, from quizzes to LinkedIn posts, carousels, SEO, YouTube titles and chapters. We've got a ton. So that's what I'm talking about anytime that I say library. How do we reach out to you specifically? Post session, for example. Guys, one of the best ways, I mean, you can open up a support chat or drop into the community an open question. Like we've got a tab for like Q&A or ask for help or share your wins. Go ahead and drop it in that community and I'll jump in there and, be super happy to answer questions. So I'm going to drop a link for everyone. And we could put it here like ask the community. And by the way, guys, I want you to create ads for whatever it is that you're doing, test it out and drop it into the community. I'd love to see what you guys are creating. So I just gave everybody a link to the community. Is it possible for Alphana to generate attention grabbing featured images for blog posts? Absolutely. We actually have several styles for blog posts. I'll show you that example as well. And I'll show you here, look at the ads that are generated for Superhuman. And meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and add so it could generate blog featured images. So we have different types of featured images. So I'm going to click this one and I'll show you what that looks like. I'll let that run. But check it out. This is based on Superhuman, right? Never drop the ball again. Email that writes themselves, automate workflows. They're talking about their Superhuman AI that they have. Here's some more, right? A couple ad examples. Here's another one, inbox zero effortlessly, AI that works for you. And then here's a couple UGC style ads that I created for this one. Now, again, don't get caught up on the blues if that's not the color for your brand. Again, what I would say is before you generate content and images, you could click the 3-dot menu up here in a project and then click custom instructions. You could also do this from your settings, but I have a lot of details in here. You could put in here like, my primary brand colors are. And then you could put like the hex codes if you know what those are. Or you could say like, light red blended with orange and a violet purple, right? You can make those types of updates, but it's better if you use color codes because now we can try to use that to match towards your colors. And once you type that information, you would just hit save, and then now your content should come out in that color palette. All right. Thanks, Sebastian. What about the content for the course? Keep up the good work. Yeah. So the content for the course, I mean, I didn't show you that, but the same thing that I did here for the course. So now I've got the course. What I recommend is, because you're going to want more details, you could literally go week 1, copy and paste this and do the same thing, is come over here and say, create your own and say, create the full course for week 1. And just copy and paste what week 1 looks like and click generate. And that'll go ahead and generate all the content for it. Go ahead and drop into the community after this session if there's more details, and I'll help you out there. I can drop in more examples and ideas of what you could do for a course. But you'll see here, this is pulling together now the full lesson. It now breaks down that first week into multiple lessons. And then you can do that for each week. So I forgot who was asking about the blog post featured images, but here they are. And so it came up with 4 different images that you can use. And we have different styles, but you'll see here, right? Never drop the ball again, superhuman, personal assistant, focus on what matters. And then you'll see how it integrates the text, right? Save hours every week with superhuman. So these are 4 potential blog header images that you could create. But again, we have over 60 different types of things you could do with images, from ads to carousels to blog featured images. So definitely take advantage of that. I was referring to when you said you're adding to the library, and I was not sure if I had to share my account details beforehand to get the links and updated libraries, as I joined too late, unfortunately. Hey, that's not a problem. And by the way, we are recording this. I don't remember if I mentioned that after you jumped on, but this entire session is recorded. We're going to make quick edits and we're going to publish it hopefully Friday or Monday the latest. So you'll get access to rewatch this video again. And the one that I just published is now inside of our library. So, when I published the UGC style ad, here it is. So now when you log into your account and you search for this particular card, you'll be able to use this. You'll be able to use this ad again. And by the way, when you come into create, because we don't have this template published, when you select a video and you click create. So again, I'm going to show you, hopefully I don't confuse everyone, but you're going to click the create button in the top left. Here it's going to show you all of the content that you could create. I'm going to filter it by images. Okay. When you do that, you could always just generate one thing at a time. Like each of these will create 4 images for you, but you could select any one of these to start. And so in this example, I could just type ads, and it filters now the 4 ad types that we have. And don't worry, we're going to add more. But now when you're creating a brand new project with a brand new video that you're uploading, you could go straight here and just select the one particular ad. You don't have to select a template. So if you want to do the UGC one or the Instagram one or Facebook, you just select the one that you want. You add the video that you're going to upload, and then you can hit next to generate. So you have access to it from here, from creating from scratch. Or if you already created the project and you have your video, you would click add card from here, and then you could pick an ad or an image or a piece of content to create. It's important to think in terms of the words related to a project, not the actual assets created. What do you mean by that? It's important to think of the terms of the words related to a project, not the actual assets created. Yeah, for prompts. Yes, that's a good point. Beautiful. So hopefully this session was good. I showed you how you could create different ads. Now, again, you could do stuff to help promote your content. And it's a great use case to be able to use this for, again, turn a webinar, an interview, or a recording of yourself talking about a product or a client call. And now you could create a series of creatives and images and ads that you could put up on Facebook, on Instagram, LinkedIn, and a lot of the different ad platforms out there. So I encourage everyone to do that. And look, if you're on YouTube or you get the recording once we send it out, I need your help. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and drop a comment in there. Please, the YouTube algorithm absolutely loves it, and that helps us out a ton. And so we want this to be able to reach more people. We want more people to get the help that we are able to provide. So I really appreciate everyone. Please go into the community, drop comments, show me the work that you're doing, ask your questions there. I'll jump in and help to answer anything I can. This was a great Insider Live. Thank you everyone for joining us. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Thanks again, everyone. Bye-bye.